What's up, guys? It's Chris here to give my Fedor versus Werdum afterthoughts. First off, apologies for the delay in the video. No, I was not mourning the loss of Fedor. Just had some family issues going on. Nothing serious, though. Nothing too serious, I hope. Or, it's not, I don't think. But, no big deal. No worries there. Don't worry about that. You know, First off, I want to say I cannot, react. I cannot replicate the reaction I had last night watching that fight as it occurred. I can't. I'm sure I could act on here, fake act it, act like, try to get the same reaction I had last night watching it, but I don't even remember my exact reaction. I think I was so in awe. I remember I wrote on Twitter that I had the same reaction in my stomach that when I saw Buster Douglas defeat Mike Tyson. Now, the difference there is, when that fight happened, I already knew the results because it happened in Tokyo. You couldn't watch it live at the time. But either way, it's just seeing something that you never thought you would see happen, something that you kind of saw as invincible, lose for the first time. So the result was very astonishing to me. I was probably speechless at the time. Another thing, reason why I didn't do a video last night, which probably would have been better, is I'm on a West Coast delay out here. For some reason, my cable company, Comcast, they kind of took one of my show times, so I had to wait till 10 o'clock to watch the fights live. Thus, I had to couldn't answer my phone, had to stay away from text, had to avoid the internet as well, completely, because I didn't want to know the results ahead of time. I don't want no spoilers, and I'm glad I didn't find any, because it really would have ruined that moment for me. Even though it wasn't live when I watched it, it was live to me, and it really just, what can I say? It took me by surprise, especially the way it ended. But real quick, before I get that, let me get the undercard real quick. I did really bad predictions on this card. Not that my predictions were so bad. I mean, they were, but more so the way I made my predictions. For example, the Josh Thompson-Pat Healy fight, I thought Josh Thompson would roll over Pat Healy. It was a tough fight. It was a close fight. If Josh Thompson had not secured that rear naked choke for the submission win in the third, and they had gone to the cards, Pat Healy very well may have won the decision. So I was off there, but congratulations to Josh Thompson on getting a good win. I wasn't wrong about Cyborg versus Jan Finney, but I mean, anyone who knows anything could have saw that coming, in all honesty. A couple things I want to say about that fight real quick. Mad props to Jan Finney for staying in there as long as she did. I know she's a woman, but that woman showed some serious heart and some serious balls. Like, seriously, I mean, I can't even put into words how much I respect her for taking the beating she did and not looking for a way out. And always continuing to try to do something, even just grab a leg or something, even though if it was completely unsuccessful. The other thing, the referee, did she let the fight go on too long? In my opinion, yes. Now, there's some people saying, Jan Finney was never seriously that hurt. She wasn't knocked out. Even when the fight was stopped, she wasn't knocked out. Afterwards, she appeared to be coherent. Yes, but I think when a fight gets to the point where the opponent has virtually no chance of winning the fight, no chance, and is just taking a sustained beating, then I think it's fair to stop the fight then. And I think that was the case in the first round late, and definitely at times in the second round before it was ultimately stopped. However, at the end of the day, what happened happened. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it, though. Do you think it should have been stopped sooner? Also, Cyborg wins convincingly, easily, dominantly once again. What's next for her? Possibly Aaron Tohill, which is a more intriguing fight than this or Cyborg's last couple fights, but I still would heavily favor Cyborg. Tohill is a bigger fighter, she's pretty well-rounded, but I don't think she has what it takes to beat Cyborg Santos. Nor do I think any woman in mixed martial arts at the moment has what it takes to beat Cyborg. But you never know. After last night, you never know what could happen. Kung Lee Scott Smith rematch. I picked Scott to win. I thought it would look something like the first fight. It did without the third round, but then it didn't get to the third round. Kung Lee absolutely dominated Scott Smith. I've said it time and again, I believe I'm a Scott Smith fan. I like the way he fights, plus he's a local guy, so I followed pretty much the majority of his career. But I could say he's not a great fighter. He's got a lot of power in his hands, but he doesn't have good strategies ever, and he doesn't have good head movement at all. That'd be an understatement. No head movement here, no game plan, just rushed in. I think maybe he thought he could pick up from where the last fight ended. I don't know, but he got absolutely picked apart by Kung Lee on the fight. And more so, Kung Lee did great work on the ground to Scott Smith's body. Anyone that's followed Scott Smith's career knows that he is very susceptible to body shots. Watch his fight against Pete Sell, watch his fight against Nick Diaz, watch his first fight against Kung Lee, and of course watch this fight. Scott Smith just could not take body shots very well. And it happened here. Kung Lee absolutely destroyed his body on the ground. And ultimately, pretty much finished the fight off with that spinning back kick to the body. Another couple shots on the ground, but it was definitely the body work. A good revenge win for Kung Lee. No need for a rubber match. Other than Scott Smith having 30 seconds, if that, of success from the end of the first fight, he got dominated every other moment of the fight. And I think probably the same would happen in a rubber match. So, good bounce back win for Kung Lee. What's next for him? Probably a movie. What's next for Scott Smith? Maybe he'll get thrown in that 185-pound Strikeforce middleweight tournament. I don't know, but win or lose, if he never even wins another fight for the rest of his life or career, I'll still be a fan of Scott Smith. Back to the main event. Fabricio Werdum upsetting Fedor Emelianenko. Once again, didn't expect it. I don't think I talked to one. I didn't see one person online. Well, maybe one person. AJ from MMA Fanatics on Twitter posted that he sensed an upset in that fight, but he's the only person I saw. Of all the websites I go to, all the people I talk to, that's the only person I saw that picked Werdum to possibly win this fight. In hindsight, maybe you could look at it and say, Fedor fell into Werdum's guard. Werdum's one of the best heavyweight jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. But hindsight's 20/20 always. Going into that fight, nobody saw that happening, myself included. Now, Fedor's biggest mistake here, I think he thought he had Werdum a lot more hurt than he really was. He clipped him on the feet, but if you look on the replay, he never really landed anything solid. More than anything, it looked like Werdum just tripped and fell back into his guard. Fedor jumped all over him and tried to finish him off. He almost got caught in a submission right away, but he was able to shake that off and get side control, or he tried to get side control. It was very reminiscent. If you've seen any of Fedor's fights with Nogueira, particularly the first one, he was caught in multiple submission attempts, but was able to fight out of them, just maul his way out of them. And I think he thought maybe he was going to do the same here. The difference was he wasn't able to. Fabricio Werdum, as good as Nogueira is on the ground, Werdum is actually better and bigger and stronger. And once he locked Fedor in, it was over. However, Fedor being Fedor, it's like when I watched Tyson Douglas, as I said. You still thought Tyson had a chance, especially when he knocked Douglas down. That's another story. But you still thought Fedor was going to get out of there. If it was any other fighter at any other weight class at that time in that triangle armbar submission, I would have thought it's over. But with Fedor, you just think because you've never really seen him lose, he's going to get out of this. He's going to survive. He's going to find a way out. There was no reason not to think that because it was just unbelievable. But that wasn't to be, obviously. Fabricio Werdum tapped him out. And what made it even better is not only that Fedor didn't tap right away, but when he did finally tap, just the one single tap, it was like poetic. I mean, I know poetic and MMA don't really go hand in hand, but I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was like something you'd see in a movie. But maybe not, because I think a movie would play it up. It wouldn't have the fight end so soon, but just the way he tapped out. That's like something you'd see in a movie that you wouldn't believe, just that one single tap, such a dramatic moment. But something that was real, not fiction, real life. Unbelievable. Congrats to Fabricio Werdum on a huge victory. Biggest of his career by far, probably will be the biggest victory ever of his career. Fedor Emelianenko, no shame in losing. Everyone loses. In all honesty, Fabricio Werdum said initially after he'd like a rematch. If they fought today, no matter when the rematch is, I'm still going to favor Fedor Emelianenko. I still believe he's a better fighter. I still think he's one of the best fighters of all time. I still think he's one of the best current heavyweights out, if not the best. That said, he definitely showed that he's vulnerable to submissions. He's not invincible. He can lose, So we'll see what happens in a rematch if it happens. But I'm still going to favor Fedor. But and I like what Fedor said afterwards. If you don't fall, you cannot stand up, or something to that regards. Very humble in defeat, as he's always been in victory as well. The only thing that bothered me is Dana White, of course, posting a smiley on Twitter. One thing I've never understood is why is a lot of Dana White's fans or UFC fans kind of laughing at Fedor or glad he lost? I'm a fan of MMA, not just the UFC. I never understood why one fighter losing. I mean, I guess Dana White, I guess it does him good because he couldn't sign Fedor or Fedor wouldn't sign with him. I don't know. I really don't know. It's almost like some playground shit, some little kid stuff. But as far as fans, I don't understand why it's funny or it's great that Fedor lost. I mean, it's a historic moment, no doubt, but I just don't see where anyone derives necessarily pleasure or joy from it. Unless you bet against them, then I'd be happy as hell. But I didn't. Anyways, I don't know. I don't quite get that. But I'm a fan of the sport, not in particular, just one organization or the other. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts on, more so not your thoughts on Fedor Werdum. I want to hear what your reaction was when that was happening. Were you like me? You couldn't believe it? You thought he was going to get out? And what was your thoughts afterwards? Like, just how did you feel afterwards. Like I said, I was speechless, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Anyways, I'll be back with my UFC 116 Lesnar card win predictions probably tomorrow. Until then, you can check me out on Twitter as always. The link is in the information bar under the video. And like I said, I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on this event, this fight. But until next time, guys, I'm out.